Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. Recently I was reminded of a story that I written years ago in my book, Black Belt Leadership. And when I shared it in my book, it was originally designed to kind of share about a funny story about parenthood. But the more I reflect on that story, and I've been doing that this week, the more I realized that it was also a really solid story for me to develop as a leader. And when something like this, when I was growing up in the Midwest, I was an athlete and was always discouraged from skiing. So as a result of being an athlete, because I didn't want to get injured, and definitely had coaches saying stay off the ski hills, et cetera, et cetera. So I never had been on a ski hill until I moved to Colorado. And this is now several years ago, but started skiing with my family for the first time and went to ski school and was doing a pretty good job navigating down the green bunny hills. And at the time, my boys were ages 9 and 5. And so my youngest son, Jason, had gone to ski school when Josh and my oldest son and his mom were off doing the green runs on their own. And so he and I both came fresh out of ski school, and now we're gonna tackle the first green hill. And as we're going down the hill, neither one of us has got great control. And so we're having to fall down and kind of roll over in order to, either because we lost our balance or we didn't want to hit someone. But what I noticed is I was getting frustrated in this situation. But not only was I getting frustrated, Jason was having a meltdown. I mean, as he was going down the hill, he'd go down and then he'd stop and he'd fall and he'd roll. And pretty soon he started crying. He was getting more and more frustrated. And so we finally came to the bottom of the hill, and it hit me. Maybe one of the ways that I could both serve him and myself is to show a little fallibility. Show that maybe that I was having difficulty as well, but I was actually kind of enjoying the process. So we got back on the chairlift and we went back up and we came down, and I made sure I got a little bit ahead of him, and I would ski down, I would fall, but this time when I would fall, I'd start laughing. And then Jason looked at me like I was, from some other planet, and he went down and fell and started crying. But then I'd go ahead of him and I'd fall down again and I'd start laughing, and pretty soon he'd fall down and it didn't cry anymore. And well, by the end of the day, or by the end of that hill, we were going down, both falling, both laughing. And toward the end of the day, we were navigating the old green hill pretty well. And I share that story with you because I think that sometimes as leaders, what we do is we think we need to create this image of never making mistakes, that we have to have this amazing infallibility. Because otherwise what we'll do is we'll lose our power, we'll lose our prestige, we'll lose our status as a leader. And my experience is that oftentimes it's when we show our fallibility, it's when we show our struggles, it's when we fall down 7 times but we get up the 8th, that's when we really inspire the people that we're leading. So I hope that story illustrated that for you. It's one that Jason's 31 years old now, and I still remember that story because what it taught me is that as a leader, it's not about perfection, but it's about moving through our obstacles and letting people who we lead know that we're dealing with them as well, but that we're coming out the other side. And when we do that, there's a humanness, a human connection that happens. And when you do that, my experience is that people will follow you to even greater degrees because they know you're in the fight with them as well. So anyway, that's my story for you folks today. I hope that what you do this week is, where are some areas in your life, and particularly in positions of leadership, where maybe you can relax a little bit more, come across a little bit more human, so that you're relating to the people in which you're leading, whether that's professionally or also importantly in your families. So this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. Always appreciate your feedback. Always appreciate your comments below. And we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.